Hey guys, this is Sarah Shireman from the Emerald City Hoop Troupe, and today I'm here to do a little introductory video on spin flags. Spin flags are one of those props that aren't seen a whole lot in the flow community, so there's not a whole lot of knowledge about spin flags, and there aren't a whole lot of tutorials online to help learn spin flags. I started out as a hula hooper, and thankfully there's a huge store of knowledge on YouTube and the internet in general about how to start hula hooping, what kind of hoop you should buy, tutorials on moves, and even tutorials on how to open a collapsible hoop or make your own hoop. But spin flags, since they aren't a prop that is seen quite as commonly, there just isn't a lot of knowledge about it, and it makes it difficult for people who are thinking about wanting to buy spin flags or wanting to learn how to spin flags. It's difficult to take that leap of faith when you don't really know what they are, how they work, or how to do the different moves with them. So this is kind of the first video in a series of playlists that I'm going to do and tutorials teaching you guys how to use spin flags and just kind of showing you some different options of what you can do with them. So today I'm going to kind of explain what spin flags are and show you how to use them. So when you get your spin flags from Spin Flag Poi, you can find that link in the bottom description of this video if you're interested in looking at their products. But when you get your spin flags, they're going to come in a hand-sewn bag. Each bag is different. I have a couple different ones here. This is my one for my metallic flags, which is awesome. But each of these bags is hand-sewn by the owner, Allie. She makes everything herself. Allison is wonderful. So we'll have this bag. There's a little drawstring. You just open it up, and inside is your flags. Spin flags come in pairs. You don't have to worry about buying two separate flags in order to make a pair. They come in twos. And when you get your spin flags, you will notice that they are a big rectangle. So here is this spin flag here. So as you see, there is one edge, the top edge, which is longer, and then the side edge is a little shorter. And the rectangle is kind of the standard spin flag shape, and this is more of a standard size. They also come in extra large, which if you're not experienced with spin flags, I would suggest starting with a smaller size, just because the big size can be kind of a lot to handle. But here is the extra large, and this is the metallic gold. But same basic principle, whether you have a standard size or an extra large size. They're that kind of rectangular shape. And then you can also get spin flags that have different kinds of edges. So there's kind of a jagged edge to some of the spin flags, which creates a really cool effect as well. Spin flags come in all different colors, all different patterns. There is a wide range of colors and patterns up on the Spin Flag Poi Etsy. If there's something that you don't see up there that you would like, Allie is great at creating anything you can think of. She hand paints every piece of silk. She hand dyes it all. She does really beautiful work. So, spin flags. A lot of people think flag poi when they hear spin flags, but flag poi and spin flags are actually different things. And spin flag poi actually makes both types, so spin flags and flag poi. You'll notice with spin flags that there is no handle. With flag poi, there's usually some sort of a handle or a loop, which allows you to do more complex tricks because you don't have to worry about the flag wrapping up on itself. Instead, the swivel or the loop for the handle will allow you more movement. But with flag poi, they will also be smaller. They can't be quite as large as spin flags. So you have more movement, but they aren't quite as large and dramatic as the spin flags are. Both are beautiful. You can do a lot of different things with both of them. It's just kind of what appeals to you. So back to spin flags. As I said before, they're rectangular in shape. There's a shorter side and a longer side. And when you're going to hold your spin flags, you want to look for that longer side. And this is going to be your holding side for kind of a standard grip. You'll also notice on your spin flag that there is a weighted edge. So you'll see over here there's no weight, and this is kind of the end that will be flying in the wind. And then this weighted edge here is where you're going to lead. And you can kind of think of this weighted edge the same way you would think on a poi, the string. And so you're leading with the weighted edge, which will kind of be like a poi ball. And so these are kind of equivalent to the same thing. So this and this. And you're leading with this edge. When you see the weighted edge, you're going to find the longer side. And you'll notice that there are different kinds of stitching on your weighted edge. So this first part, straight from the weight, you'll see there are a line of 3 stitches. And then there is a line of 2 stitches, and then a line of 1 stitch. And then it goes out to no stitch. And for flags like this that have a very definite pattern, it's actually pretty easy to find your handhold because it's going to be right where that pattern comes together. And so without even looking at the stitching on this flag, I know I'm going to be holding right here where the pattern is. Okay? If you have a flag that is not as obvious as this one, so these tie-dye flags, it might not be quite as obvious as where you're going to hold this flag because it's just kind of one big pattern. But actually we're going to look at that stitching again, so this is a little bit easier to see. So I have 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, coming from that weighted edge. And then you'll see that it stops and goes to 2 stitches. So 1, 2. And then it goes off to that 1 stitch. And where you're going to hold is going to be where that 2 stitch becomes the 1 stitch. So right here. And that's going to be kind of your standard grip for holding onto your spin flags. You can definitely hold in other locations on the flag. I do find myself sometimes that I get kind of far down this long weighted edge, and it's just going to create a little bit of a different effect when you spin them. So you can kind of experiment around with it. There's no right way, but this is kind of the more standard grip hold. And then when you go ahead and grip onto your flags, the best way to get into it is if your flag is, you know, right next to your side. This is on my right side and my right hand, which is my dominant hand. I'm going to go ahead and just grip my 4 fingers here on the outside, and then my thumb is just going to grip onto the inside. And so it's kind of just a pinch more than like a hold, and this will allow you more range of motion. It will also allow you to change your grip if need be. There are some tricks where you'll find yourself wanting to just kind of walk your fingers to the other side or back, depending on what you do, to create some different movements and different moves that can come out of that. You can also regrip your flags anytime that you're flowing, and you can easily just kind of walk your fingers up and down the flag as need be. So that's a good thing to know. The one big difference too between spinning spin flags and spinning flag poi or poi in general is that with poi, it won't wrap up on itself if you continue in one direction. So you can continue in one direction like this for a long time, and it won't wrap up on itself. It won't get messed up. Same thing if you're going to do like a 3D weave. You can easily do that without any kind of wrapping happening. With flags, on the other hand, they will have a tendency to wrap around themselves if you continue in one direction. And so a big thing with spinning flags is learning that with every move that you do, you have to undo it. And so I like to think about this as wrapping and unwrapping. So I'll go ahead and show you. I'm just going to continue this in one motion. and you will see the flag get smaller as it wraps onto itself. So I'm just spinning in one direction. It's just going to go smaller and smaller and smaller until it's completely wrapped. All right. If I want to unwrap it, I have to go in the other direction, and it will gradually just unwrap itself. So every time you wrap, you'll have to unwrap. And that becomes incredibly important if you're doing especially a 3-beat weave on one side. As you go, it's going to wrap up, and then you have to turn around to the other side to unwrap it. And I know when I first started spinning flags, every time I wrapped my flags, it really worried me, and I thought I was messing up and getting my flags all tangled. But instead of thinking in that way, you can use it as a tool. So wrapping your flags in one direction and then being able to unwrap them dramatically in a different direction. And it's just kind of very similar to L'Evian with the wrapping and unwrapping, and kind of knowing where your string is or where your flag is. And that just ends up coming to you better and better as you spin more flags. It's something that you won't really think about eventually, but it is a technique that is important to learn. Let's see, what else about spin flags? I think that pretty much covers the introductory to it. Like I said before, go ahead and check out Spin Flag Poi on Etsy. They have tons of flags. If you don't see something there that you like, give Allie a little message. She's really quick about responding, and she can create pretty much anything that you would like. The other thing is most spin flags are UV reactive. So like this one, for instance, is very UV reactive. I actually spun it at a show last night at a club in downtown Seattle, and it looked gorgeous with the black lights, and especially with lasers going off of it too. Super pretty. And you can get portable black lights for the park, or if you want to take it to a music festival, that's also really awesome to do. I really like spin flags for just how dramatic and bright they are, especially for daytime gigs or at performing at the beach or at the park. As incredible as hula hooping is, for people that don't understand flow arts and don't really understand the technicality of all of it, hooping with daytime hoops can be kind of not very exciting for people, no matter how amazing you are at hula hooping. Whereas something like this is really eye-catching, and it's something people haven't seen before. And so it is really great if you have a daytime performance that you're doing, or just going out and spinning at the beach. These are I get so many people coming up to me at the beach or the park when I bring these out and spin them. They're especially beautiful if you get the sunlight behind you, because all of these are very translucent, and they create really beautiful silhouettes and shadows as the sun comes through. These gold ones too are really gorgeous in the sun. They pick up light really, really well. So that's awesome. But yeah, every time you spin flags, just think of this as being the string of the poi, and then you're just going to lead with that edge. So just like this, and you're going to be leading with that edge, going through. So yeah, I think that's about it on kind of what spin flags are, a little bit about different types, how to hold them, how to spin them, and about a little bit of techniques as well. If you would like to buy your own pair of spin flags, go ahead and look down at the link in the description of this video. There's a link directly to Spin Flag Poi's Etsy site. They also have a great Instagram that they're very active on, as well as a Facebook page. And spin flags are getting more popular, and the community is growing. So go ahead and post some videos if you have them already. If you don't have a pair, I'd highly suggest getting them. Another great thing about spin flags is they're so easy to transport. They're so easy to bring into events or to fly somewhere. I mean, they literally can fold down to fit in your pocket, and that is something that not many flow toys can do. So if you're ever worried about getting a prop into a festival or event that flow toys aren't allowed, this is awesome. You can literally wear it as part of your costume. I've worn them as scarves before going into events, and people don't know what they are, so that's also a huge perk about Spinflags. But yeah, go check out Spinflag Poi, Etsy, Instagram, Facebook. I think they have a Twitter as well. And then I also have a bunch of playlists that I am in the works of creating and uploading, so that if you do have a pair of Spinflags and you don't really know what to do with them, we're starting kind of a little bit of a database on YouTube to, start explaining what Spinflags are, doing tutorials, sharing moves, all that good stuff. So go ahead and check out the rest of my tutorials for Spinflags if you're interested in learning. Otherwise, go ahead, check out Spinflag Poi and see what they have to offer for you, okay? All right, and happy spinning to all of you.